Okay, so welcome to Starseed Ascension, where we have guests and experts from a variety of backgrounds to gain perspective in the spiritual, paranormal, and ET space. And we are all about raising consciousness and uniting through love. So today, our beautiful guest is Juliana Fox, and we're so excited to have her. And she is a dear soul sister of mine who I've known for some time. We've actually facilitated some retreats together and just an amazing, beautiful soul. So let me share a little bit about her background. So divine intervention led her to the beginning of her healing journey in the fall of 2003, where she now dedicates time and energy in supporting others to discover their spiritual path. And recovery from drugs and alcohol started a profound path to self-love and self-acceptance. So with over 20 years of recovery and she's been able to live a life of purpose and substance. So no longer weighed down by these barriers, she has committed to a life of healing. So we're going to hear a little bit about that today. And and so after a life-changing experience and attending a wellness conference in 2018, she returned home and dedicated some time to the healing art of Reiki and completed 60 hours of Yoga Nidra training in Canada, which is really exciting. And then through Reiki energy healing, Yoga Nidra, and astrology, wow, we have a whole lot packed in there. She has brought in her own spiritual practice. So just kind of witnessing the ripple effect in the lives of others and her own. She now trusts everybody and everything is energy. That's so beautiful. And so her life experience reinforces her vision and mission to awaken an energy and empower her clients to discover their own unique gifts and abilities within, aligning to their divine purpose. So she is an Ann Arbor, Michigan native. Woo woo. Yeah. And had to get a plug in. And was a single mom of her son's entire life. So after he grew to be an adult, she set out on a voyage diving into her younger self's dream of living and learning about different places in the US. So she has found a way to integrate healing services to her 20+ year career as a stylist and makeup artist in Michigan, continuing that path out to Colorado from June of 2022 till October of 2023. And then this past summer, 2023, called her heart again, and she recently relocated to the state of Washington, where she now resides in Vancouver, Washington, working as a stylist, makeup artist, and leading Yoga Nidra sessions for the community she is establishing herself in. So, and we also found out that she was recently featured in the Holistic Wellness and Beauty Lunar Calendar of 2024. And that's with Harmony with Yuko and collaborators. So Juliana, I feel like I shared your story, but we want to dive into all of that. So
like the whole thing.
You want to like expound upon your path and just kind of what led you to where you are in this now moment.
Oh man. Well, like the bio says, I got sober in October 4th, 2003. I was struggling with drug addiction, very, very bad. I weighed about 90 pounds and a young mother at 20, and dragging my family and friends through this really hard time and hurting a lot of people and myself ultimately. And so like, I do believe that it was a divine intervention, because the way I was living was like just drugs, and if anyone got in the way of my drugs and me and my lifestyle, like, I would gaslight them like big time. And so, just navigating addiction and then going into sobriety and recovery, and what does that look like? And I, went, I got in trouble too. So I got into some trouble, and then I, started going to 12-step meetings, and that was my base of my recovery. That was like the start of that spiritual place, whereas like I knew as a child I had something. I didn't know what it was, but it was always felt different. And I think it is just that empathetic soul that, I was struggling to know how to, I didn't have guidance. And, drugs really like kind of calmed all of that down for me. And then it didn't work. So sobriety really like the way that they taught things was just like finding a higher power and all these things and all these great like really helpful tools to like live life without drugs and alcohol. And so that led me into like 16 years of abstinent only recovery, and which was, thank God, it saved my life. Raised my son on my own and with the help of a village. Let's not forget the village, because it wouldn't be possible without that. Alive and in the spirit world. And actually like taking my Reiki, like doing Reiki was with Jamie. That was like one of the very first moments. It was just this like, okay, like I'm starting to do these things. Well, actually, it was did the Yoga Nidra experience that in I think it was October 2018. I went to that wellness conference and I got a scholarship to go. I wrote this whole essay. It was amazing. And um, went to this thing and I was like, where did I go? I went somewhere else when I experienced Yoga Nidra. I was like, that was like doing drugs was way better. And like, I felt, yeah, just more connected and just, that was really special. So, then I met you not long after that, and then took Reiki, did my Reiki 1, 2, and 3, eventually 3, but the 1 and 2, and simultaneously I lost a dear friend to addiction. So um you know that was really hard, and it was actually like a few days before the first um class that I took with you. And I was like told my friend that I was doing the class with, I think I need to just not go. I don't want to bring everybody down in the class, like I just wanted to deal with it on my own. And she's like, I think this is like the best opportunity like for you to do this. And so I listened to her and I went, and it was like pretty profound. And I felt this connection with my friend in that moment. So that was really special. And um, you know, it just kind of started to lead into other things and opening ideas of plant medicine and psychedelics. And so that was really a struggle for me for a little bit. Actually, a while. It took a while for me to really like allow myself the opportunity. At first, I was like, ooh, this doesn't sound right. This feels like, what if I, utilize it in this really hard way? And then it just started to evolve and really call me. And so that is the work that I've been participating in for quite a few years now, and it's been really transformative. And you know um I can see the benefit of it, and that it does actually enhance my sobriety and my recovery. you know, it's a very taboo kind of topic. However, I found some other groups that are in the same boat as me. So it's kind of neat. It's come full circle. And, so now I live in this place and offer this really wonderful practice of Yoga Nidra, and I've incorporated sound with it. So building community in this area that I'm in is really, really, really I just feel like a calling here, and I've been meeting a lot of great people, and just the right people, the right circles, and it's like I'm able to offer my medicine now, which is also, I think, anybody that offers medicine, it's like you have to do the initiation, you have to walk through that first, and experience that healing. And then it's like we pass the baton, we keep doing our work, and then we like help others in the process. So yeah, I guess that's like, a little bit of, I went kind of through my whole like quick, life, but it's been a great journey. And yeah, yeah, I think that's all for that little, you know, moment or question. Yeah.
Sure. I love that. And I remember, that Reiki class and I love, what you mentioned with the sobriety and that expanding through plant medicine and just supporting it. And I think that's really important because of the taboo, like you said.
Yeah.
And my story, so it's a
Yep.
similar experience there.
Yep.
And so would you say when you sort of shifted your life and started to focus on your health and well-being, did things start to fall into alignment? Um,
Fell apart.
the
Yeah.
dark night of the soul happened for
Yeah, many of those times is like really scary to walk through that. It's very frightening. And there's also this like beautiful place of mystery and like the unknown. And it is, yeah, it's uncertain, it's scary. So I didn't know if it was going to be a good idea. And I just like, that little thing inside, it's like a magnet, feels like it's pulling you forward and telling you, trust, it's okay. And like, we're not going to let you fall. But there was many nights, just, yeah, days, nights, whatever, moments in time that felt like I was like ripping myself apart. Right. And, and I still get these moments of like dark night of the soul, like energy of that. And then and it's like I have to be reminded of like, it's okay, I'm going to be okay, trust. And it might fall apart completely, and that's okay. Like sometimes it's just what's needed, right? Yeah, you
beautiful.
know that.
So acceptance, surrender,
Yeah,
trust, all of the
yeah,
things you learn through walking through the fire and exploring the darkness, huh?
right, right,
Uh,
exactly.
so Juliana, what motivates you then or inspires you rather to do the
Mhm.
work that you do now? And are you observing any similar experiences, what other people are navigating, just challenges? What are you kind of perceiving in your world?
Yeah, I think like it said, like I said earlier, just it takes one to know one, like you've shared that with me since I've known you. And it's like I know what I experienced in that first session of Yoga Nidra. And it was so powerful, and some something changed. And then there was moments like some practices are just like relaxation. That's cool. Like that's enough, for the world we live in. Definitely it's needed. And then there's, I mean, one in particular session, the my teacher took us back to the day we were born in the journey part of Yoga Nidra, and we went back to the day we were born. And something, it was a relationship with my mother, uh has not always been easy. And especially when I was in my addiction, it was really tumultuous and really, I mean, I hurt her a lot. I really like damaged relationships. And so there was always this like thing. And I think it's just generational. We go through this stuff. But something changed that I can't put into words. Something shifted in me that I was no longer like the victim of this situation. It was more like, oh, I understand. And there was a compassion. There was like of course, this is, what our experience has been. And of course, like you feel this way. And of course, she felt that way. And there was, I don't know, a shift in our relationship. And so it's pretty beautiful because, like, I never could have expected that. And that was just in like this yurt in the middle of Canada. And I was alone. I wasn't with her, you know, but there was something that energetically shifted. And so, yes, when I see people going through and coming to my sessions, I mean, I love to hear the feedback. I love to hear, what did you experience? And if you're willing to share, I love to hear it, because it is so catered and tailored to that person and what they are going through, what's alive for them, and what is in the future. It's like very much a past, present, future thing, all in this 1 hour of, you know, a yoga nidra session. So yeah, I see that with people that, you know, maybe, I don't know, I think it's like meeting people where they're at is so important. And I've had so much blessings with people in my life meeting me where I'm at. So that's the medicine I bring, you know, and it's not easy, and it's really beautiful, you know. We're so
Yeah.
hard on ourselves.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah.
Yeah, beautifully said. And for those of you listening or watching that haven't experienced her energy, it's just so angelic and peaceful and vibrant and all of the things. So yeah, just such a blessing to be in your presence. Um, and Juliana, just wondering, when you explore that yoga nidra for yourself, was that the first time you kind of felt a connection with your deeper intuition or your abilities? Or is this something that dates back for you as a child? Is there anything
I think
that you
it
remember?
I think
Yeah.
it dates back. But like I said, disconnecting, I have a tendency to do that. You know, I'm an Aquarian, double Aquarian, so it's like that's just my jam. Sometimes I just just like I just kind of whoop, go off, and who knows where I went. Yeah, disassociating, you know. But I think as a child, yes, I would say, I mean, you know, I only have reflections all the, I have like moments where it's like my parents or my aunt or my grandma or whoever would share with me stories. I remember feeling just like this little child that just wanted everything to be magical and happy. And it like really messed me up when it wasn't. And I didn't understand why it had to be that way. So there was this like, yeah, disconnect of like, well, why do we have to, you know, have problems? Why do, you know, it's just like this little magical little kid that just wanted to like be part of and have everybody included. And then when things would, I would get very emotional. I was a very emotional child. Like my mom says that I used to just freak out. She's like, I didn't know what to do with you. And I'm just a very sensitive little kid. So, you know, I think all these tools have helped me to work on that inner child. And it's still like, I just had a massage today, and that little girl like came up, and she was there, like she was like, it's like I'm glad to have those moments, and I know I have processing to do, like I know I have work to do still. And there was something that happened. I was just visiting Michigan a couple weeks ago, and something came up about just like a revelation about that like inner child work. And I was like, wow. But it was like a different approach. I'm like, oh, and I laugh, you know, like instead of like, oh, this is the work I haven't done yet, you know. So the shift is like, of course, right? It's like I'm a little gentler with myself than I used to be. But that doesn't mean that it still doesn't come up. And so, yeah, it's, yeah, I think that little girl like had such a magical view of things. And so I'm just trying to really love her, and that feels good, you know.
Mm, I love that. And just a testament to where you've transformed along your journey and your path, and, infusing that gentleness and lovingness and, that sacred mother energy, which is so beautiful. And, and I can relate to that little child, as as a little human child, and, wondering, why isn't the world full of love and connection? Where are we?
What is
Yeah.
going on here? This is a hard place, right?
This doesn't make sense.
It's
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna take some drugs and drink some stuff.
Right. Get me out of here.
Get out of here, right? It's
Yeah, and
hard
I
to,
think that's so common, in that
yeah,
journey.
yeah, yeah. It makes sense now. There's been levels of shame to go work through,
Right.
like I was shameful for like all these things that my family didn't do any of these things, right? All these stories, and these stories maybe were true at the time, but it's like really like I was just trying to, I was coping with life, and that was the best choice at the time. And thankfully I had a heartbeat after all of that. I have a breath that I breathe, it's, I mean, when it comes down to it, it's like we're pretty dang lucky to be in this human form. But it definitely wasn't always a feeling of that.
Right.
My roommate, sorry, I don't know if you heard that. Anyways, um, yeah, so yeah, just yeah, gosh, yeah, the little girl. I think
Yeah.
that's helpful.
Well, I like what you said too, just about, you can still achieve that feeling that so many of us go to or have in the past to escape, right? This reality. And you can achieve that through other means that are healthy. And that's kind of our birthright, to have that cosmic bliss and euphoria, just as a natural enlightened state.
Mhm,
And of course, on the way there, balancing polarities and all of the work, like you said, that comes with it. And,
mhm,
and part of it too is that we don't have to like physically die to go through that life review process. We're doing it now. So when you're having these moments, right, of a memory that's carried forward to the now moment, and, maybe a response, you get to respond to that in any way you choose, and you can choose all
mhm,
of the things that you shared, of
right,
the gentleness. So I love that. And, and that's, embodiment to me, embodying what it feels true and
yeah,
true and aligned in your heart.
yeah, yeah, mm, like that.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, what would you say about, so you connected, with your experiences as a child. Is this something, has your mom ever shared, or anyone else in the family, that they've had any kind of like psychic premonitions or intuitive abilities that have not been expressed? Has that come up at all? Or are you kind of like the first one?
No, my mom
Yes.
definitely, it's weird. It's like my dad's totally like disconnected from, like he just doesn't believe in any of this weird stuff. Like, but his dreams are so vivid, and so like he's definitely um gifted. And then like I see this like intuition and then the fear. And sometimes it's like hard to decipher like what is, they feel the same, right? And so it's hard to discern like when is it my intuition, when is it like fear and trauma. And that it feels very red, it's both like the same. It's like learning how to work with that though is what I see with my dad's like very intuitive, and my mom is too, and she's really dedicated some time to doing some work. um so it's kind of nice for us to be able to talk about some of this stuff, and it's really, yeah, it's special. My brother too, like, but it's never been like um guided. It's never had that like, oh, what do you want to call it? Mentoring that, and utilizing that in a positive way and helpful way. It's more, it's our family, were just like, it's just like gone to fear. So it's kind of the base I have, right? And it's like,
Sure.
but it's funny, like my aunt is very, man, she's been doing some work and doing some, she gave me this book, Ask Your Guides, I think it was what it was called. And so she's doing work and having visions, and like, it's really, I'm so proud of her,
Wow.
because it's, if we can shift from one perspective to another. And I think grief is a huge um doorway to this kind of work. I've really, grief of whatever kind, in losing people like to death, I think really opens up a door. My son he's always been gifted, but he always thought I was like a weirdo, until
He
he
judged
lost.
you.
Right. He was like, oh, mom, whatever. Like, he just like roll his eyes. But I'm like, he would, as a little child, he would have these moments. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like, it freaked me out sometimes. And that was before I like had, gone down my gift alley and like figured stuff out like that way. So
Was he
he,
reading your mind?
yeah, sometimes. Yes, a lot. We have that. And we'll think he'll be like, oh, that was weird. So we have this a lot. And he lost a friend, couple, like less than 2 years ago. And so since then, he has had his own journey of those kind of signs and synchronicities and gifts. And, it's always been there. It's just like now it activates, it's a catalyst to spiritual development and finding our gifts, because it's like, you can't make this stuff up sometimes. These things that happen. I remember after my grandma died, he's like, we were out, and so the song Imagine is like one of her favorites, top five. And I heard that song so many times. I don't hear it hardly ever anymore, but when I do, it's really special. But at the time, we were thrifting, and all of a sudden Imagine starts playing, and I'm like, oh my God, I start crying in the store. And I'm like, Dylan, grandma's here, and he's like, oh God. But I think, that was an opening for him to see someone going through that process. And then that same night, I think it was the same night, there was another song that she really loved, which was called Sacrifice, which is by Elton John. And she loved that song. And that came on the radio, which is not a common song at all. It's like, not when, you got those tunes that he comes out with that are pretty popular,
Right.
pretty catchy. But that came on, and I was like, okay, this is really weird. And he thought that was really weird too. So just, being open to it, being perceptive to it, I think is really good. And
I
it can
love
help. Yeah.
it. Speaking
Thank
to us through the sound waves.
you. Yeah,
Like DJing up there.
right, exactly. Like, let's put this one in there and see what happens.
Just,
Yeah,
just messing
yeah,
with the frequencies.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
yeah, I love it. I was going to ask you about your paranormal experiences. Anything else you feel called to share in that department? And I'm going to ask
Okay.
you about the UFO too, so pick your order.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're just so subtle, and just like, oh, I was just talking, my massage therapist today was talking about that, like these little winks from the universe. And I was like, that's a good way to describe it. Those little, moments that kind of go, okay, what's something's going on that I can't see or touch, but something's happening. And it usually is through music, because I love music so much. It definitely is a huge, like, I think that's a way that spirit talks to me, is through music. Um, and you get those, like, what's the clairsentience, or the different clairs, right?
Right.
And I definitely don't have the clairvoyance. Like I don't have the medium thing where dead people talk to me. Like there's none of that happening. I might be cut off to it, but I just yeah, it kind of freaks me out when I think it's so cool, fascinating. It's not my gift, you know, and I'm okay with that. I like that other people have that gift. But I would say that, you know, the feelings, um, I tune into that, like the energy, the current energy of what is going on. And I think that that's, you know, like a muscle you have to build, right, over time. So those are kind of those maybe paranormal kind of feelings or psychic kind of connections. But yeah, the UFO is pretty it's pretty cool. It did freak me out though, I have to say. It was like, what the heck? What is happening right now? So yeah.
Well, tell our viewers just briefly what your
So
experience was.
yeah, I mean, it was a quick thing. It was my grandma had passed March of 2015, and um I was in a relationship that was not really, it wasn't aligned, but I was trying to make it work, you know. And we had like gotten into, I had woke up in the middle of the night and he was awake. It was like we just got into like a tiff. And I was like, I'm leaving. And I get in my car and I start driving. And I was in major grief. I mean, my grandma was probably my best friend, you know, in the world. So she's really special to me. And so I get in the car and I'm driving and I don't know where I'm going. I'm just like driving and I drive down this road and there's a cornfield and this big house in this distance, like it was in this traffic light. I'm coming up to turn right. And all of a sudden in the sky, I see like these lights and they're like kind of just doing this hover. And then all of a sudden they just go zoom up in the sky. And it scared me. So I didn't investigate any further. I freaked out. I'm like, oh my God. And then later I was like, why didn't I go and look? Like I should have looked more, you know, but I just want to get the heck out of there. It scared me. And I was like upset. I was driving on the road, like very upset, probably crying, you know, but it tripped me out. And then I drove down the road, went to this 24-hour store, and then I came back and I was like, what just happened? Like, and I wanted it to happen again, but obviously it didn't. And then the next day I go to my work and this guy that I worked with, he's one of my friends. I tell him about, I'm like, oh my God, I think I saw a UFO last night. It was crazy. And he goes, yeah, it's national, what did he say? Like UFO abduction day or
Oh
something,
my God.
thing. And I was like, what? I was like, all right, because he was a jokester. I was like, stop. Like, I know you think I'm crazy and stop it. And he was like, no, I swear to God. My girlfriend, my ex-girlfriend, it's her birthday yesterday. And that is a weird day that's like a connection. We always used to joke about it. And I was like, no way. And I look it up, and sure as enough, it was. And so it was just
Oh my gosh.
it's just a funny thing, but nothing has ever happened since then. But I definitely feel that connection with the star seeds and um, more the angelics, I think, you know, that the angels and whatnot. But yeah, I do. I mean, we cannot possibly be the only living beings in this universe. I'm sorry, or galaxy, whatever. It's infinite. So it's like we are pretty silly to think that we're the only ones that are walking around, you know,
For
having,
sure.
yeah, community or whatever. It's like, yeah, pretty sure that but it was crazy. And it made me feel like, I don't know, I guess I felt like it was a connection. It comforted my heart after I settled down that my grandma was okay because it was so close after she died. And the sky is a really big thing with that healing process, sunsets and, you know, things like that. Definitely has helped me a lot. But yeah, it was
Well,
just a story, it's not anything like crazy, like I wasn't abducted or anything, but I guess
hey, they're benevolent.
I put off the vibe, like, no, they listened.
I love it. I love it. Feels like you were meant to see that. But I don't blame you for not investigating because like, as much as I'm open to into, I talk to ETs, let's get real.
Yeah,
But
right.
cornfields freak me out, man. Like Children of the Corn. Have you seen that movie? Like just like freaky shit.
It is. I know.
No
And
thanks. Cornfield that night? No thanks.
yeah, I was like, oh my
ET,
gosh.
sure.
Yeah, yeah, right. No, but I didn't have any exposure. I didn't know anything. But I remember when I was a little kid, like I remember worrying about that. Like I couldn't sleep a lot of nights because I would think about, like, it made me feel so uncomfortable because I'm like, I know I'm so small and we're not the only ones here. I don't think I had those thoughts, but that's
Yeah.
the feeling, was like, oh my God, I'm terrified. Because it's like, what happens when I die? These are things I was thinking at like 5 years old or whatever it was, 6, just like, and just taking my breath away a little bit, anxious, and just never talking about it, like just holding it all in. Just, it just felt like a little
All the
alien.
secrets of
I
the
was like,
universe.
yeah,
It's a big responsibility.
it is. Right, right, right.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I do want to, before we disconnect here, share with everybody how they can work with you.
Oh, okay. So, I think you'll have my information linked in the, you
Yep.
know, okay. So I have to kind of look. Hold on one second. Because I'm like, I know I'm the Infinite Fox, but I don't know if on Instagram that's the Infinite Fox or Infinite Fox. Infinite Fox 8 is my or not hashtag, handle. So Infinite, INFINITEFOX 8. And so you can find my link tree on that. And that has all of my like YouTube and all of my offerings basically is on that link tree. So, and I think I gave you that information too. So
Yep.
yeah. And
Wonderful. We'll link it below.
yeah, yeah, or email too, which we can put in there too. But yeah,
All
yeah,
right, Juliana, thank you so, so much for sharing your time and your beautiful energy and your story and
yeah.
experiences.
Thank you. Oh yeah, the book. You want me to?
Sure, 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 sure.
This is the book. I just got it today. It's my birthday, actually, also.
Yes,
Um,
happy birthday.
that double Aquarian. So yeah, so she's got this really cool book, and then I'm featured. She has each month a featured contributor and collaborator. And so I have a little bit of a blurb on one page 159, and it just kind of talks about Yoga Nidra. So there I am. So that's pretty cool. It was a good birthday gift to open that package today and receive it. And yeah, just I think we're moving into that Aquarian field, like where we're connecting and community, and it feels really, really good. So that was one of her like little babies for the community and collective. And just doing her shout outs to the people that she really looks to and wants to, hold them up in a platform, which is what you're doing here. So that's really cool also.
Love it. All
Yeah.
about collaboration.
Yep. Yep. That's right. That's what we're going into. And if you aren't, then it's going to be hard for you. If you're
Just
not
tell it
into
like
play,
it is. Where we
it's
go.
going to be a hard road. But
Michelle.
yeah, thank
Well,
you so
thank
much.
you, my love.
Yeah.
We
Thank
will connect
you.
soon.
Yeah.
I love
Okay.
you.
I love you too. Bye.
Bye.